Now let's talk about how we use and categorize these modes. We categorize these modes in two different distinctions: major modes and minor modes. Let's go back to our first learned mode, the Ionian mode, or better understood as the major scale. The first two steps in this mode are whole step, and that determines for us that it is a major mode, because two whole steps create the interval of a major third. If a mode begins with whole step, or half step, whole step, then it is considered a minor mode because it begins with the interval of a minor third. The most standard major mode is of course Ionian, and the most standard minor mode starts on the 6th scale degree, or La, and is called Aeolian. Just like we talked about before, Aeolian has 5 whole steps and 2 half steps, and they are in this order: whole step, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. If you were to compare the two scales using accidentals, you'd say Aeolian has a lowered 3rd, 6th, and 7th scale degrees when compared to its major counterpart, Ionian. It is also referred to as the natural minor scale, or the relative minor scale. Now, just a little side note, we say raised and lowered because you don't always sharp the note or flat the note. Sometimes natural sign is enough to raise or lower the scale degree. Now that we have established there are two different types of modes, major and minor, let's put each of the other modes into one of these two categories and see how they are different from one another. In the major category, we have Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian. In the minor category, we have Aeolian, Dorian, Phrygian, and Locrian. If Ionian and Aeolian are the standards here, then let's compare the other modes to these two modes, depending on which category they fall into. Let's start with the major modes. Lydian is just like Ionian, but it has a raised 4th degree. Again, we say raised instead of sharp. Mixolydian is just like the Ionian also, but it has a lowered 7th degree in its scale. Now on to the minor modes. Dorian is just like Aeolian, but it has a raised 6th degree. Phrygian is just like Aeolian, but it has a lowered 2nd degree. And Locrian is just like Phrygian with its lowered 2nd degree, but it also lowers the 5th degree. Here's a little chart that is easy and will help you start memorizing these modes. Modes are super important for what we do in music. Without them, music would be a little duller and far less interesting. Here's the Simpsons theme song, which uses a hybrid Lydian and Mixolydian scale. Now listen to the same song if we take away just the Lydian feel. Pretty lame. I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know your comments below, or anything else you'd like to learn about.